Okay, then let's to review how we factor the polynomial with four terms. The name is the procedure is factor by grouping. Let's to check our first exercise. Okay, our first exercise by grouping is that exercise. Mm? The first point in any factorization of polynomial is factor out the GCF from all terms. In our case, after we review, we don't have any common factor. Okay, but be careful. In any polynomial that you pretend to factor, the first step always will be factor out the GCF. Our second point in this factorization is group the first two terms and the last two terms. I group them in parentheses right here, my first two terms and my second two terms. And then try to factor out the GCF of each parenthesis. For example, in the first parenthesis, we have the common factor y. And then y is my common factor of x minus a c. Close the parenthesis. In the second parenthesis, my common factor is 10. 10, let me change the color, 10. This is 10 is my common factor of x minus a z. Close parenthesis. If you see, now we have another common factor. Step number 3, factor out the common binomial factor. My common binomial factor is exactly the parenthesis. Then I have x minus 8c is a common factor of what? Of the factor y plus 10. Let me change the color just to refer that is that y. That y that we put outside and 10. Ready? We transform a polynomial of four terms in two factors. Factorization by grouping. I refresh the step. Step number 1, GCF. Step number 2, grouping the 2 and 2 terms. Step number 3, factor out the common binomial factor. Factor out, which is the same thing as GCF, of the common binomial factor. Okay, our second exercise is grouping also. Is that exercise that you see there. Checking the step, first step is factor out the GCF from all the terms. Again, we don't have a common factor in all of the four terms. Then go to the next step, and the next step is group the first two terms and the last two terms. Then pay attention right here, because when I group in my first two, let me change the color of this parenthesis. When I group in my first two and my second, be careful right here, my second parenthesis, this sign that we have right here, this sign change everything if I put in front of the parenthesis. That means that's 5b that previously was a negative, now is positive inside the parenthesis, and the minus 55 now enclosed inside the parenthesis is positive. Let me then rewrite that expression. Be careful again, once again, be careful with that sign. Okay, let's to rewrite my polynomial now in the right way. Now I put my negative sign, open my parenthesis, 5b, and inside positive 55. If I multiply that negative sign, negative with the positive will be negative, and negative with the positive will be negative. Exactly the same expression that we had originally. Then let me write everything right here and work with our new structure of the polynomial. Now, step number 2 is step number 3 is factor out the common binomial factor. From the first parenthesis, I have common a, which is common factor of b and 11, and from my second parenthesis, I have let me give a space, I have 5 as a common factor in b and 11. Now I see that I have a common factor binomial. Then I'm going to select it. This common factor, which is b plus 11, and that is common factor of a that we have right here, and 5 that we have right here. Then I says common factor of a minus 5. Ready? Our 4 terms. Now we have in factorization in 2 factors. Okay, our next exercise by group factoring by grouping is as a procedure says, try to check common factor in the old term, the GCF of the 4 term. We don't have a common factor. Then the second step is separate the 2 into our terms. I'm going to do that. Parenthesis, 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 and parenthesis. Don't forget the problem that we have when the sign is negative in front the parenthesis that we enclose. Everything inside change. 4x at the beginning was minus 4x. Then let's rewrite our exercise, and looks like this. Parenthesis x cubed plus 3x to the square, close parenthesis. That negative sign is negative sign. Just to refresh you that now our element change of sign. Now 4x is positive inside the parenthesis and 12 is positive inside the parenthesis because it's affected by the negative sign that we have in front, right? Okay, the third step is try to find a factor out in each parenthesis. In my first parenthesis, the common factor is x to the square, x to the power of 2 is common factor of x and plus 3. X to the square is common factor in x and in 3. And continue with the expression. My common factor now in this second parenthesis is 4. 4 is common factor of x plus 3. Try to find the factor out in this binomial that we have, two terms. And in the first term, I have x plus 3. And in the second term, we have x plus 3. That means that x plus 3 is a common factor. And I'm going to open my second parenthesis, which is x to the square minus 4. X to the square minus 4. Then I have my 4 terms. I have my 4 terms now in 2 factors, factoring by grouping.